Hello and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share. This video, we're going to talk about the latest motions put before Donna and some strange connections that I think you may find interesting about this judge. So attorney Leonard Meyer resubmitted a emergency motion for release for R. Kelly upon changed circumstances. He addressed the fact that inmates at the facility have tested positive for the virus. And you can always pause these screenshot it and go back and read all of the details, but just a quick summary. They also stated that Mr. Kelly poses no credible risk of flight. Gave some other citing information. And then also states how all of the facts and circumstances clearly deny Mr. Kelly due process if he is not secured in an alternate safe location with a heavily conditioned release. So again, if you want to know all the details about this new emergency release, just go back, pause, screenshot, or just do a quick little search and you can find it. So let's move forward. They had a status hearing today, and in which we got a response from the government, which is basically citing that witness intimidation and the fact that he still had streaming is the reason why he still does pose a flight risk. The motion also reveals that, according to MCC legal counsel, 9 inmates at a high-rise jail where Kelly is housed have tested positive, none of whom are on Kelly's tier. So basically trying to say he's not in any immediate threat of being exposed to the virus. Prosecutors also allege R. Kelly has enlisted people to do his bidding by regularly posting and appearing in online videos in support of him and overtly trying to intimidate the defendant's accusers over social media. So then as I go on Twitter and do a little looking, I begin to see, this infamous page that is destined to continue to keep R. Kelly down, as they keep saying, start posting things like this. They start posting videos that support their claims in which people are working for R. Kelly and intimidating witnesses.
Call the ambulance. They done put in an ambulance. Got her ass RL. Oh, get the truck out. Dirty bitch. that little bitch. Bitch, get your dirty ass out of motherfucking Chicago. Now turn no kills. Where her faggot ass daddy is, because I'm looking for that bitch. That bitch is lying. R. Kelly ain't touch her ass. That bitch, now you come back with a whole different motherfucking lie. Here go the police. Now the bitch trying to Joy wants to beat her ass. Bitch, get the fuck up out of Trump Tower. There go the police. Joy still upstairs packing. They brought out nobody, y'all. Nobody. Thank you, Chicago police. Little red had to get her ass up out there. They go to the red shit in the motherfucker.
R. Kelly's attorney, Steve Greenberg, responded that it is preposterous to believe that Robert is responsible for anything posted on social media by his fans. He does not run a cult. So let's go to what's being put out there. And according to Keep R. Kelly Locked Up, R. Kelly supporters who spend 5 hours a day every week belittling and harassing victims in the case have been in personal contact with New York defense lawyer Douglas Anton. That's why he will be denied bail. So, yet again, it's okay for them to post all the imagery that they post about keeping him locked down, having a severed head of him. All that is cool. But they want to narrow in on the few people who have done the most online and make R. Kelly accountable for their actions. And on top of that, they want to throw in the icing on the cake for the simple fact some of these people making videos have been playing recordings and showing all these screenshots of their conversations with Doug Anton. Now, to me, it's always been odd in this fact. When you get an attorney, that attorney is not supposed to be discussing things with anybody. And the fact that some of these people have been in such an attempt in trying to prove certain points, they have done more damage in being eager to share these voice recordings. Hypothetically speaking, if they are supporters of R. Kelly, as they say, they should realize that by continuously talking about they have these inside connections with R. Kelly and are passing messages to R. Kelly back and forth, and his calls are supposed to be monitored other than with his attorney, y'all are given more reason to throw questions toward R. Kelly and make it harder for him. And people entertaining this, I just don't understand. But anyways, also according to the motion, they cited that he's earned $200,000 in royalties this year. But last time I checked, in a federal RICO, don't they freeze your account so you don't have access to any accounts that any of this money hypothetically would be going in, would you? according to this person, they're saying that um, R. Kelly's attorneys could easily put out a message to stop the shenanigans, but instead you have Sharon Wimbush out here talking about Rob said we need to, and one of his attorneys of record on a blogger show who has spent months stalking, harassing, and threatening witnesses. There are video recordings of fans who harassed the victims of R. Kelly talking to Douglas Anton on the phone. Someone else replied, that doesn't mean R. Kelly told people to intimidate the witnesses, who are technically Jane Doe's. According to this person, vote R. Kelly guilty. See, again, they can just, it's okay for them to create these pages to promote their agenda, to keep tarnishing his name and depriving him of his due process rights. They can keep creating these pages, but nobody is supposed to blog about supporting R. Kelly. Granted, some people have done too damn much. According to them, they say they are definitely overly intimidating, posting their business, their family business addresses, harassing then at their workplace. And as for Az, it's every day. She never gets a break. They never stop, especially Don Russell, RK, former manager, on YouTube, posting Faith's nudes, all bad. So what people have failed to register in their mind about making these videos is he's already being accused of intimidating witnesses based on this person sending this so-called cease and desist to Faith, making these interviews, talking about doing this, still showing photos of Faith, and all these people going back and forth with each other trying to prove a point with this man attorney being recorded. It's just too much. It just boggles my mind how so many people have continued to keep this open dialogue between someone who is obviously working in overtime, trying to keep control of their fake ass narratives, that they're doing any and everything to hold R. Kelly accountable for everybody else's stupid ass mistakes. He'll sit here and tell you some of the things you're doing to help him, and yet people continue to keep doing them, trying to prove their points. And meanwhile, people keep talking about he needs new attorneys. No, he needs some of these people campaigning for him to get a reality check and realize some are doing more harm than good. Though they may not like his attorneys or agree with the way his attorneys operate, even publicly ridiculing them makes absolutely no sense. At the end of the day, let's talk about the biggest problem. Even if he had the best attorneys, let's talk about this judge. Oh, wait. Before we talk about the judge, let's go into this interview that was put out.
The New York federal case against Grammy-winning artist R. Kelly is expected to be the first of the 4 pending cases against him to go to trial. This week, the attorneys are creating a juror questionnaire, and one question clearly stands out. Have you, a family member, a close friend, or spouse or partner, ever had a sexually transmitted disease?
months in, prosecutors are objecting, saying the question, among other reasons, is, quote, unnecessarily intrusive. Mike Leonard represents Robert Kelly. There's going to be a whole panoply of evidence presented by the state about Mr. Kelly, about his health condition, about whether he allegedly transmitted an STD to somebody else, whether they knew that he had an STD. So clearly, it's evidence that the government's going to rely upon in its case in chief. Right. So it would make obvious sense to ask the jurors questions about their familiarity with it, whether they've experienced themselves, whether they've been a victim of that type of STD, et cetera, et cetera. So to us, it's a no-brainer. It's clearly relevant in light of the evidence that the government wants to put on in this case.
Do you think jurors will be honest with you?
Well, that's an interesting question. The good thing about a juror questionnaire is it's a piece of paper that you're not sitting there or standing up in front of a whole room of people in a voir dire where you have to be worried about that. Kelly is accused of having sex with underage girls. The New York case alleges that he also gave a girl herpes without disclosing that he had the disease. In 2008, Kelly was found not guilty in a child pornography case. The latest charges surfaced following the Lifetime documentary series Surviving R. Kelly, which featured alleged victims' stories of manipulation and abuse.
I would give my life for my justice and any other woman you validated. I will not go away. I will not be quiet.
R. Kelly has consistently denied any wrongdoing, saying any relationships were consensual and the girls were all of the age of consent. He lost his composure during a 2019 interview with Gayle King on CBS This Morning.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I can't have 30 years.
Robert,
30 years.
right now you're obviously getting a one-sided take on R. Kelly. You're getting snippets of video that are produced and packaged in a way to make him the worst possible. And you got to remember, we're talking about allegations that in some instances are 20 to 25 years ago by persons who've already testified and or given statements under oath saying something that's absolutely contrary to what they're saying today.
And STD is not the only diseases that the defense team for R. Kelly is concerned with right now. They're also concerned about the coronavirus, and that as a basis to try to get him released on bail because he hasn't been convicted of anything yet. He's getting ready for his trial, but still is presumed innocent. But here's some of the requests that were made today for bail, saying that there are at least 6 known and confirmed positive cases of COVID-19 amongst the population where Mr. Kelly is being detained. Then perhaps the best argument yet is not only is he on virtual lockdown, Mr. Kelly now gets 1 phone call per week. His attorneys cannot visit him. So if you got a trial coming up, everyone's in lockdown, you can't prepare, you can't visit your...
So let's go back to that, because it just boggled my mind. All these people keep talking about they talking to this man and having communication with this man, and his attorneys are having such a difficult time maintaining contact with him. According to what they just said, the facility is on a virtual lockdown. So Mr. Kelly now gets 1 phone call per week. His attorneys cannot visit him. His attorneys cannot visit him. So that would definitely mean can't nobody else visit him. That's what I get out of what they're saying. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Attorneys cannot visit him. So if you got a trial coming up, everyone's in lockdown, you can't prepare, you can't visit your client, Will this trial actually happen, or does something else have to happen, like releasing R. Kelly so he can interact with his attorneys? Let's bring in Steve Greenberg, lead attorney for R. Kelly, joining us tonight. Great to see you, Steve.
How you doing?
Let's start first with the COVID. Good. Before we get to STDs and all that, let's talk about COVID tonight. You can only speak once a week if you want to on the phone with your client. Do you talk to him on the phone, or are you concerned that people are listening?
No, he only gets one phone call a week, which means he can only make one outgoing phone call a week. They're definitely listening to that call. Calls that you have with an inmate are not privileged if they're made over the regular jail phone system.
So again, he said he only gets one call. Because somebody was on my page earlier saying, no, that just means he only get one unrecorded phone call. No, that's not what he's saying. He's saying just what he said. He only gets one phone call. Unless you're trying to say he lying.
I was able to arrange a telephone call with him yesterday through the jail, but that's hard to do. Every attorney who's got a client in that jail wants to arrange those phone calls. So those phone calls are probably once every week to 10 days. That's on a private line that nobody's supposed to be listening in on. But you can't really accomplish anything on that call. I mean, we have thousands and thousands of pages of discovery already that we've received on this case. We need to sit down with him. We need to read these materials to him because he can't read them to himself. He can't read, he can't write. We need to talk to him about these materials. Frankly, I'm not going to go into jail, even if they told me I could go into jail, because it's not a safe environment. You can't socially distance. If there's any hope of this case going to trial this year, he needs to get out.
All right, let's talk about some of the charges here, because they're alleging that your client is part of a criminal enterprise.
So before moving on, he just added that sometimes he can get another call. So that's up to 2 calls. So in my opinion, do I think this man would be wasting his time and we can communicate with his attorneys, just calling random people? It's very suspect.
Right? And when I think of criminal enterprise, I think of, the mob and those types of cases. Other members of the alleged enterprise testify against the person they're going after. Now they're saying R. Kelly's the leader of this criminal enterprise. Are any members of his entourage supposed to be testifying against your client?
Well, I'm sure they'll find people to testify against him who worked for him over the years. We don't have, the way it works in federal court, they don't just dump on you at the beginning all of the investigative reports. They actually don't give them to you until you're much closer to trial. So we don't have interview reports with witnesses for virtually anyone they're going to call as a witness. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is that I've never seen a RICO indictment where just a single person is indicted and they say this is an enterprise. They're essentially saying that his music career was a criminal enterprise, which to us is preposterous.
Well, let me walk through, because
Exactly. So what he basically saying is he don't know who, if anybody in his crew is testifying against him, but it should be strange to everybody else that he's a RICO enterprise. According to all these women's stories, it's always a bodyguard or some person from his crew that is giving them these phone numbers and arranging all these events to happen, yet we don't see them. We have, over the course of this time, seen all these articles which could be trying to coerce people into coming forth by implying they will be charged as well, even though we see nobody else has been.
I've got the indictment in front of me, and they allege certain factual scenarios here describing what the enterprise is doing. And let me go through just a few of them to see if you will concede that, oh yeah, this actually took place. Members of the enterprise on Kelly's behalf invited women and girls backstage. Would that happen?
Sure, that happens. That happens for every band.
Okay. When Kelly identified a woman or girl that he wanted to see again, would he give his contact information to that woman, or obtain her contact information?
Are you asking me when he found a woman that he liked, would he exchange telephone numbers? I mean, let's break this down
Yes.
to what it really is. They're saying
Wait. Not only that. Wait. Would he communicate? Would he communicate with these women by telephone calls, text messages, iMessages, and FaceTime?
I'm sure he did. Don't you? Do you
I'm getting admissions tonight.
Message? What?
Exactly. Here's my point. What they described as I was reading it sounded like the life of a rock star. Okay, but the part where it diverts from the life of the rock star to criminal, the way I'm reading this, is underage girls. That is part of the allegations, that he is engaging in sexual contact and acts with underage girls. Are you contesting the age of these women? Isn't that like you're either underage or you're not?
Well, you are either underage or you're not, but the question becomes, do people know that? So, for instance, one of the charges here in Chicago, and I can't speak to the federal in New York yet on that issue because I don't have to discover it. I can tell you that ever since Robert had his case back, more than a decade ago, he was extraordinarily careful to make sure that girls were not underage. Did he like younger women? Yes. 20, 21, 22, 19, sometimes 18, I'm sure. But I can tell you that questions were asked and answers were given. So I know one of the people here in the indictment in Chicago in state court has very publicly said, I lied to him about my age, and my mother lied to him about my age. I think the same thing is true with respect to at least one of the girls who's involved in the New York federal case, where her parents were lying about her age, and she was lying about her age.
All right, how about this one? And this really goes to the Surviving R. Kelly documentary. And this is one of the things that I think that we saw there. And the allegation is that he isolates women and girls from friends and family, making them dependent on Kelly, your client, for their financial well-being. Was that happening? Was he isolating these women and keeping them away?
Hold on. Because I can't even let this one go. Because according to their claim, it's his fault that they're financially dependent upon him. It's mighty funny that they could do quick searches on these people's profile and see the different lifestyle they have lived using R. Kelly's name versus doing their own thing. I'm going to give you a prime example right here. Take old Javonta Cunningham, who was brought in by Tiffany Hawkins, who went from being an average dollar store worker to now being a public figure. Why? Because she appeared on Surviving R. Kelly. What accomplishments do these women have on their own merit outside of R. Kelly can you establish in order to back up these claims that R. Kelly made these women financially dependent on him instead of these women doing like the average woman does, which is go out and make their own name?
Away from their family? Because that was a big part of
No,
the documentary.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. What he was doing was buying them Gucci and Prada and nice things like that they weren't getting when they were living with their families. They lived a much better lifestyle. They were on limousines and going out for fancy dinners. So I don't know what they're complaining about. One of the things that was on that documentary was you had to, when you wanted to urinate, you had to ask permission, that people would pee in buckets, that they were chained to the floors, all that. There's no evidence of any of that. I've been to his condo many times. They've searched his condo. They've searched his studio. They haven't uncovered a shred of evidence that that kind of stuff ever went on.
All right, now you've got the transmission of the disease. We know about that's another one of the allegations. Also producing pornography. So
it's actually not the transmission.
Are there videos?
It's not the transmission of the disease, Vinny. It's not the transmission. The New York statute, we've attacked this in a motion, says that anybody who has a sexually transmitted disease cannot have sexual intercourse. You and I have talked about this. It doesn't matter whether you gave it to somebody, you didn't give it to somebody, you warned them about it, you didn't warn them about it. None of that is in the statute. It is a wholesale prohibition on sexual intercourse for anyone who has any STD.
Damn, that should take out half of Hollywood. I mean, even to this day, right now, you can go on Instagram and probably see somebody or some little girl beefing on the internet about NBA YoungBoy, who has come out in multiple songs talking about having herpes, yet keep popping out babies left and right. You got Jim Carrey, who had his ex-fiance commit suicide after he allegedly transmitted multiple STDs to her. HIV-riddled Charlie Sheen, who went on CBS News talking about the reason why he's coming out is because he was being blackmailed. And we could go on and on and on. But for some strange reason, they're going to make R. Kelly the face of this new law, I guess. Or not new law, but old law that they're trying to use just to get a conviction. And still have to prove this man has this alleged STD. And even more so that he transmitted this disease to her. Anyways.
All right, how about videos and pictures? Underage girls, producing the allegations here. I mean, the videos either exist or they don't exist, right?
That's right, and if they exist, I'd like to see them. I haven't seen them.
All right. And this trial was supposed to happen in July, right?
Right, it was supposed to happen. We were actually supposed to, in May, I believe, on May 18th, distribute the juror questionnaires that you talked about earlier. There's zero chance that you're going to get 300, 400, 500 people to gather in a room. Hopefully we can do it. Now we're going to do it September 14th. We're going to distribute those questionnaires so far closer to the trial date, to the actual trial date. And hopefully by waiting that long, we can proceed to trial in September. But who knows if we're going to be able to get 12 people to sit next to each other in a courtroom, to go in a jury room and deliberate. Maybe other accommodations will have to be made. We'll have to get a bigger courtroom, and the jurors will have to sit 3 seats apart.
Yeah, I absolutely believe that trials are going to look a lot different.
And so I saw this post in which it clearly is a dialogue between this Judge Donnelly and R. Kelly's attorneys, in which you could see in her tone of voice she's a little irritated by this new motion. She's quoted as saying, "Why have you made your bail application to me when it's about Illinois? I've asked the U.S. to respond." R. Kelly's attorney said, "We could refile it in Illinois. We didn't want him to be released in Illinois and then you jail him." Judge Donnelly replies, "That could happen." Seems like to me she got her mind all made up regardless of what is put in motion. I wonder why. Let's talk about her strange connections. a little ironic seeing her photographed with this Linda Fairstein, which I pointed out in an old video that I did a few months back, in which she played a little role in the first R. Kelly trial, being that she was head of the sex crime division at the time. But anyway, a lot of people don't know that this Judge Donnelly, she got into her position because of, you could say, hanging in with the right crowds. Apparently, she was friends with this guy by the name of Senator Chuck Schumer's daughter, who has his office under the Obama, or had his office under the Obama administration. What's interesting to know about him is that he was deeply tied into the sex trafficking ring with Jeffrey Epstein. So we already pointed out, or no, I haven't yet. Yes, I have. I already pointed out Tina Chin, who's also under the Obama administration, who also has strong ties with Kim Foxx. Enough ties for her to be moved to drop the case against Jussie Smollett, since, according to Kim Foxx, the bigger case would be the pedophile, in her words. In this message, it clearly shows Tina Chin communicating with Kim Foxx, talking about how she has reached out to the FBI in regards to the Jussie Smollett case. But it's just a reflection of how these people use their political offices and these ties and connections they have to pull in favors. So is it far-fetched to believe that someone could be pulling in a favor from this judge, with the common link being under the Obama administration, who we have witnessed heavily promote this LGBT movement? And strangely, like a lot of these celebrities, idolize people as pictured on his shirt. According to reports, Schumer got thousands of donations from Jeffrey Epstein. And not only Jeffrey Epstein, but also Harvey Weinstein. So the fact that this man who vouched for this judge is so heavily tied into the Jeffrey Epstein case should raise flags. Because as we've pointed out before, we know this is a political campaign. And I find it very ironic how R. Kelly's case was molded to be very similar to Jeffrey Epstein's case. Meanwhile, all these high political figures have something to hide. Not only was this guy Schumer, who recommended this Judge Donnelly, tied into Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein, but he was also tied into the Smallville scandal, in which that director had the girl from Smallville recruiting all the underage girls and all that for him. And not to mention that this Schumer guy also has his hands in another pot with Time Warner, because apparently he got caught in a scandal in which he, along with his other family members, were trying to strike this huge deal between Comcast and Ticketmaster that would leave them with millions. But then you had people to blow the whistle, and he tried to backpedal his way out of this shady deal. But it's just another connection, considering Comcast is also affiliated with Sony. We keep looking at a lot of these small people who are distractions and keep failing to realize that a lot of these connections starts with the people in high positions. A lot of these people are being used as pawns. But if you keep your eyes on the facts, you should know that, again, this justice system is not always fair. You could have the best attorney, you could have the worst attorney. But at the end of the day, you can't sit here and say God is in control of this situation going on before us, and then you continue to act in a way that is counterproductive to God's will. All the things that have been done in the dark are about to come to light. And all those people who falsely accused R. Kelly will have their day. All these people have their hand in the pot of corruption.
Have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
Come on, it's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
Oprah's competitor.
You know what? I'll tell you, she's really a great woman. Though she is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special. I have not even thought about it. I guess we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that's more.
Thank you. Yeah, Vito, Oprah would be a lot of fun. I know her very well. You know, I did one of her last shows. She had Donald Trump. This is before politics. Her last week. And she had Donald Trump and my family. It was very nice. No, I like Oprah. I don't think she's going to run. I don't think she's going to run.
From Sydney to San Francisco, check out the world's most popular pizza toppings. In Japan, their deep dish delicacies include corn and squid. Over in India, they serve it up with pickled ginger, tofu,